When's the best time of year to plan your destination wedding? Hold on and we'll talk about that. Hi, I'm Jack with Vacationese. This is a topic that I've been getting a lot of questions about. So let's talk about that. So when is the best time of year to have a destination wedding in Mexico and the Caribbean? We'll just focus on those areas. So the first thing we have to do is define what you mean by best time of year. So if we're looking at price, that's one thing. And if we're looking at weather, that's another thing, two separate things. So let's first talk about weather. So when we look at the Caribbean and Mexico, it really depends on what you're looking for weather. So let's go on the premise that the hotter it is, which is typically going to be June, July, August, and September, it's hot, right? So you just have to worry that if you do a wedding during a hot period, you want to make sure when you're working with the planners at the resort or up front when you're working with your travel professional and picking a resort, that you reserve a time as late as possible. Remember, the sun's up till 8 or 9 o'clock probably, so if you can get a 6 o'clock time for your ceremony, you shouldn't have hair and makeup issues, your guests won't be sweating. Look, if you ultimately decide to be married on a beach and you accept a time at 11 o'clock in July, just know it's going to be hot and your guests are going to be sweating and sweating and sweating. So weather, to me, my favorite times of getting married or having a wedding would be January, February, and March. The weather's beautiful. Daytime 70 to 80, evening 70-ish. The only you have to remember is at those times of year the sun sets a little earlier, so you may find that the latest time available is 5. Other times that are really nice are in the fall, October, November, and early December. Also, the weather is nice. It's actually my favorite time because at that time of the year, the ocean is still warm, the pools at the resorts are still warm. So again, if you're looking for great weather, as well as just a great time that tends to be less occupied at resorts, October and November. Now, a couple things on weather that you have to think about. Everybody says hurricane season. Okay, so hurricane season is typically June through October. You can look up on some weather sites, you can see storm tracks and everything. Here's the key about the weather. If you're working with a travel professional like us, we know which are the good resorts. We know which resorts have a good plan B. Plan B meaning that you do choose during that time period that is hurricane season. If they see rain or anything happening with the planners, they will let you know and tell you, here's an option for your wedding to resolve any potential with weather. Now, the other thing you have a problem with is not weather in the destination, but weather at home, right? So let's say that you are flying, oh, you and your guests are flying from Chicago or Boston or even here in Philadelphia in February. Well, it's going to be beautiful down in Mexico or the Dominican Republic, and we're not going to have any weather issues there. There's going to be no hurricanes. But what if it snows in Chicago or Philadelphia? Oh my, flights can be canceled. So I think from a weather perspective, you have to look at two things. What's the weather where I live, and what's the weather where I'm going? Again, going back to my favorite time, which is October, November, and early December, other than, that time is just great. You're not going to have snow in Philadelphia, Chicago, hopefully. The weather, you're not going to have the hurricane season. So that's probably my favorite time. That being said, when I look at our history of weddings by month, and I talk to friends of mine, every month is busy. Last year for us in 2022, July was our busiest month. And then October, we had very few weddings in January. Also February was busy. So I think it's whenever you want to get married from that side. Now, the next thing you worry about, when is the best time? People worry about price. So from a price perspective, as I mentioned last week in my FAQ video, you have two things with price. You have the wedding package prices, which really don't vary much. Some of the resorts are charging more in prime season. And then you have the room rates. So room rates, in my mind, are also related to weather. I say this when I talk to brides and grooms. There is an inverse relationship to weather and price, meaning the lower the temperature in Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, New York, the higher the prices. Think about it. January, February, it's cold. Living in Philly, we don't want to be here. We want to be on the beach. The resorts know that prices go up. So, as you look at warmer temperature, you tend to see, warmer temperature where you live, you tend to see the prices of the resorts go down. Okay, it goes back to the weather issue. So bottom line is, I would say, you want to stay away from holidays. So just know that Christmas, New Year's, any holiday for family-friendly resorts, the kids are off of school, we see the prices go up. Adults only, doesn't matter too much. And then it used to be during the summer prices went down. Now they do with family-friendly, but I think what I'm seeing is the prices at the at the adults-only prices go down, excuse me. At the family-friendly resorts, we are seeing that prices are higher than you would expect during the summer. Why? Because families are traveling. So again, from a price perspective and a weather perspective, and time frame that I see lower prices overall are going to be in the fall. Specifically, I've seen the first couple weeks of November with low prices, and unusually, the weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas have low prices. My thought is the resorts historically see low occupancy levels. They're trying to incentivize people to travel, so they're lowering the group rates. To me, going back to weather, my favorite time to travel is around Thanksgiving to the resorts, because the weather's great for your events, the prices are low. Again, but generally you can say that after the summertime, Labor Day moving forward, you're going to see the prices start going down. So again, to answer the question of when is the best time to have a wedding in a tropical destination, you have to look at weather and price. But overall, if you're trying to put the combination of low price for your guests for the stay and nice weather, I think you can look at the fall, say September through December, discounting Christmas and Thanksgiving, because those prices will be higher. Other than that, any time is a great time to have a destination wedding. It's great to just hang out with your friends and family and enjoy yourselves and enjoy the happiness of getting married at a tropical destination. Hopefully this information is helpful for you. Feel free to post any questions, and please subscribe to my videos.